Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there ruled a ruthless and brutal king named King Mordecai. He ascended to the throne after his father's untimely demise, and wasted no time in establishing his dominance. The people of the kingdom soon realized that they were living under the oppressive rule of a tyrant. King Mordecai was driven by a thirst for power and an insatiable desire to control every aspect of his subjects' lives. He imposed heavy taxes on the common folk, leaving them impoverished and destitute. The king's army, composed of loyal and ruthless soldiers, patrolled the streets, instilling fear and suppressing any dissent against the king's rule. One day, a group of brave rebels decided that they had endured enough suffering under King Mordecai's rule. Led by a charismatic and cunning young man named Alexander, they formed a secret resistance to challenge the king's tyranny. The rebels sought to liberate their fellow citizens from the shackles of oppression and bring an end to King Mordecai's brutal reign. As the resistance grew in numbers and strength, King Mordecai's paranoia intensified. He doubled the guards around his palace and tightened his grip on the kingdom, ordering executions of anyone suspected of plotting against him. Fear spread like wildfire, but the rebels remained steadfast, driven by their determination to see the kingdom free once again. The resistance's efforts to unseat the king were met with cruel retribution. King Mordecai sent his enforcers to crush the rebellion mercilessly. Alexander and his allies endured numerous trials, facing imprisonment, torture, and losses along the way. Despite the odds stacked against them, they refused to back down. As the kingdom suffered under the brutal king's reign, word of the resistance's bravery and valor spread throughout neighboring lands. Some kingdoms were hesitant to intervene, fearing King Mordecai's wrath. Still, others saw an opportunity to seize power and began plotting alliances with the rebellion. In the midst of darkness, a glimmer of hope appeared. The daughter of one of King Mordecai's closest advisors, Princess Isabella, grew disillusioned with her father's tyranny. She had witnessed the suffering of her people firsthand, and realized the kingdom needed a leader who ruled with compassion and justice. Princess Isabella decided to secretly support the rebellion from within the palace, providing valuable information to Alexander and his allies. As the rebellion gained momentum, King Mordecai's grip on power began to weaken. The people of the kingdom, inspired by the rebels' bravery, started to rise against their oppressor. The once loyal soldiers in the king's army, who had been forced to carry out his brutal orders, started to defect, joining the rebellion's cause. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. The rebellion launched an audacious attack on the palace, facing the full wrath of King Mordecai's forces. A fierce battle ensued, with lives lost on both sides. In the end, Alexander confronted King Mordecai in the throne room, where the tyrant was finally brought to his knees. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. The rebellion launched an audacious attack on the palace, facing the full wrath of King Mordecai's forces. A fierce battle ensued, with lives lost on both sides. In the end, Alexander confronted King Mordecai in the throne room, where the tyrant was finally brought to his knees. Under Alexander's rule, the kingdom flourished, and a new era of prosperity and harmony began. The brutal king's dark legacy served as a reminder to future generations of the consequences of power and cruelty. The rebellion's bravery and determination became the stuff of legends, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the people in the face of oppression. The moral of this story is that the pursuit of power and the desire to control others through cruelty and tyranny will ultimately lead to one's downfall. King Mordecai's brutal reign caused suffering and fear among his subjects, and it resulted in the formation of a courageous resistance determined to overthrow his oppressive rule.